How's it going, everyone? Today, we're going to be doing a little market recap of the ARM trade. Now, I mentioned the ARM trade in my last weekly watch list video that dropped on Monday, December the 15th. Today it has panned out over the course of the last few days, really. So, I want to just get into this very specific ARM trade, tell you my thought process on why I entered it, how it's panned out, and maybe give you guys some insights into how to take some of these swing trades. So let's begin. First of all, I announced the ARM trade on Friday in my Discord group. Link is going to be in the bio. I just simply said dumper, right? So I had ARM 120p for January 16th, $1.15 per contract. They were super cheap. These contracts are up big right now, over $4 a contract. As we speak, I haven't checked the price since the morning, so it's probably even lower or higher right now. But yeah, I netted 10.8k profit off this, cut 3/4 of the position, so I only have a quarter left. Unfortunately, the price dumped another even 6% today. So would have netted a lot more, but it is what it is. I'll take that quick money any day. All right. Now, I went into why I think the chart is going to go down, technically speaking, on the watch list video. I'm not going to cover it in that much detail, but I'll just give a quick synopsis. So we have this high over here, right? All-time high is right here, technically, but if you go on the weekly, this is what really matters. The weekly candlestick closes. And as we can see, we could not get a single weekly candlestick close above this 182.67 level. In addition to that, the last time we came up into it, we swept it and had a huge candle body wick above and have been going down ever since, right? We've had some weeks of reprieve where we came back into these EMAs, but it has failed to materialize into anything bullish and had gone down since. Looking at it on Friday, right? So this was Friday right here, this candlestick. Looking at it into Friday, I had seen a bear flag develop, right? Bear flag panned out because we had a breakdown, a retest over the course of 2 days, and then it just came back down lower and lower. In addition to that, we also have the confluence of the EMAs acting as resistance, right? So the 21, it was sandwiched between the 21 and the 9 EMA, ended up failing against the 21 over here with this nice doji on some weak ass volume, and then volume really picked up on Thursday, okay? So I see volume picking up as we decline, all right, from a pattern. That gives you confirmation that the move is valid. I see this retest of the EMAs again, and it failed. Another confirmation. I have high time frame bias lower, right? Because this has just been trending lower, and we're not obviously coming back into all-time highs. Last several times we come back into all-time highs, we have been failing and going down miserably since then. So technically speaking, that's where my mind was. I was bearishly biased. The chart just did not look any good. Technically, this would be an inverse head and shoulders, but really if it loses this level, the pattern is invalidated, and then we can see a move down to the 100s over here, 103.76, and even lower down to this level over here at 86.1, right? So that's where our mind was, technically speaking. Now, let's go into the fundamental catalysts and the news catalysts that made me want to take this even more. So it's one thing to have fundamentals and narrative as your bias, and one thing to have technicals as a bias. If both those biases are in alignment, that's when you get the best trades, right? You don't want to have an uphill battle against a bullish narrative versus a bearish technical chart, because one or the other has to win. But when they're both in alignment, the moves will be exacerbated and just better overall. So let's look at it. Well, on Friday, 9:58 a.m. on the 12th again, Oracle data centers for OpenAI delayed to 2028 from 2027. Now, Oracle later came out that same day and said, this is FUD. We can take care of our data centers. We, can meet all our commitments, blah, 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 blah. But the market didn't buy it, and nor did I. It's just sounded like PR speak, quite bullshit. And knowing the problems of the AI market and everything, it should be very, very apparent that these people are lying. They have a financial incentive to do so, obviously. And you shouldn't really take them at their word for it, right? And the market reaction just gave more confirmation that no one's buying this. In addition, today, more news came out. Oracle's $10 billion Michigan data center in limbo after Blue Owl funding talks stall. So, guys, there's just no money. All right. The money for these data centers is coming in the form of IOUs, in the form of stock commitments and everything that they can't even sell. If they sell it, it's bearish for the stock. So they don't want to do that either. It's this weird catch-22 circular financing situation that they're getting themselves into. It's all just terrible horse shit, trash, dog shit wrapped in cat piss. All right? Just awful. So you might be asking then, okay, you're bearish on data centers. You don't think that they can meet commitments. You think a correction is due, but why did you short ARM instead of Oracle? Well, we have to go back to the Project Stargate deal that happened earlier in the year. You guys remember that? Where Trump had announced a $500 billion deal between many of these mega corporations to build AI data centers and in America. It would create jobs. It would stimulate the economy. It would make us the number one in AI, undisputed, beating out China and all the competition, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And during that meeting, they had a bunch of the key players. Everyone recognizes Sam Altman, Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO, OpenAI CEO. But one figure that most people don't recognize, who's actually one of the biggest and the biggest funder of all this, actually, was Somayoshi Son, I believe his name is. How am I even forgetting it? Damn. Anyways, he is the CEO and founder of SoftBank, okay? A Japanese investment bank that's mostly focused on tech companies and everything. That has been their shtick. SoftBank is the biggest owners of ARM, all right? So let's just take the transitive property, right? ARM is the biggest funder of Project Stargate. Project Stargate is what allows Oracle and OpenAI to build these centers. Oracle and OpenAI can't build these data centers and meet their commitments and promises. Okay, so naturally, the biggest player in that deal is going to suffer the most. So besides Oracle and OpenAI is private. All right, I have the choices of basically either shorting Oracle or ARM. Now, why did I not short Oracle instead? Well, it's because, first of all, the chart is much lower extended. So the market structure just isn't there to take something reliably and safely, in my opinion. In addition to that, I'm not going to bullshit whatsoever. Larry Ellison is the CEO of Oracle. If you guys know anything about Larry Ellison, well, I'm going to ruin it for you because you're going to learn a lot. So first of all, Larry Ellison is Jewish. All right. He is the single biggest individual private donor to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. Okay. He has Benjamin Netanyahu on his phone. He's in fact his best friend. They have both said this. Look it up. So much so that they vacation together on Larry Ellison's private island in the Bahamas for Sabbath. Look that up too. It's all true. Okay. Larry Ellison is deeply embedded in the government. He is in the top 10 richest man on earth. He was for a brief period of time after Oracle's insane earnings gap up when it went 40% up in one earnings report. He was the richest man on earth. Okay. He was Elon Musk's protege for many, many years. Has many, many connections in the government. His son is the CEO of Paramount Skydance, the company that wanted to buy Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, Netflix came in and also made a deal for Warner Bros. Discovery, which the Warner Bros. Discovery board accepted. Larry Ellison did not like that, okay, because he is on a path and a mission to control media in America. Very Jewish of him, right? So what did he do? He called up Donald Trump and complained about it. The very same day, okay, Trump, and we know this because of reporting. This is not just like conjecture or inference. This was reported by reputable journalists and media sources, right? And Trump went and made a statement and said that he thinks the Netflix deal might be an antitrust case, a monopoly case, and maybe it shouldn't go through, just to throw some FUD towards the deal. That's how much power he has. So when I see a company associated with a guy that powerful, a guy that ruthless and conniving and with so many connections, I don't really want to bet against him. All right. Sure, it would like feel good, but there's just a lot of different elements that can go wrong for me that are completely out of my control because it's just Jewish oligarchs doing Jewish oligarch things, right? So instead, I'd rather Shore Arm, which is simply owned by some Jewish, or not Jewish, Japanese businessmen. And let's be real, like the fucking Japanese don't have any power over America does, or over America, especially not compared to like say Israel or the Jewish lobby, right? And don't take it in my words, like even Trump, just like literally yesterday during his Hanukkah conference, was like, Israel has the most power in all of Congress and was the most biggest and strongest lobby. And he was sad that it's not anymore. I still think it is, but regardless. Anyways, putting that all aside, point I'm trying to make over here is one, you need to be aware of a lot of these interpersonal connections. Okay, you need to be aware of these power dynamics. You need to be aware of the geopolitics, and yeah, you need to be maybe a little bit red pilled. It does become very, very fucking profitable. Obviously, you saw the P&L from that trade earlier. It came in handy. So, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys took on a lot of the, or maybe at least one of the watch list trades. All of them have been pretty much popping off to one degree or another, whether it's the RKLB impulse back down into the 0.5 range and EMAs and then potentially go higher. As I said, you could have shorted that or just wait until that impulse down and then go long on it. As I said, my ES and SPY and indices read has been quite good. Indices are down. My NVIDIA read is good. It's down $6 since the watch list was uploaded. ARM read is obviously very, very good. So if you guys want, live news announcements, analysis, charts, write-ups, options order flow, the whole shebang, it's all going to be found in my Discord. Link in the bio. Have a great day.